The Moline Breakfast Optimist Club hosted its annual Shoes That Fit program at Jefferson Early Childhood Care Center. Running around in a new pair of shoes is not the only thing children got to experience today. They also learned how to talk to people they don't know, the ones who provided the shoes for them.
And those are all skills that we can learn that not necessarily we can do through an iPad or social media. It's face-to-face contact.
The club has provided over 1,500 pairs of shoes to children at Jefferson for 15 years. The Moline Breakfast Optimist also provides winter clothing for kids as requested by the teachers. Today marks the grand opening of the Sand Island in the Quad Cities Botanical Center Sun Garden. The island provides sand toys for kids to play with. It also gives visitors a chance to learn about the unique plants from warmer climates. The beachy atmosphere is a fun way for kids to play during the winter.
You're not all bundled up in your jacket, so gives parents a chance to kind of relax. You don't have to be worried about keeping the kids busy inside the house.
The Sand Island will be open until March 31st. Admission is $6 for adults, $4 for younger kids, and free for kids under 2. Dress for Success hosted its annual fall sale Saturday afternoon in Davenport. The sale had been going on for 3 days. For the first 2 days, clothing was put in the hands of women with lower income and is expanded to the public today. Dress for Success offers professional attire for women in need. The company also provides career development tools to help women land a job in the professional workforce.
You walk out of here with 2, 3, 4, 5 bags of clothes, and they've spent maybe $50. So, and I mean, these are truly beautiful clothes that we're able to share with the community and just sort of pay forward what's been given to us.
Dress for Success is accepting donations for professional attire. If you would like to make an appointment to donate, you can call the store at 563-322-1010. 80% of last year's graduates responded to the survey. If they reported being employed, either full-time or part-time, or enrolled in graduate school 6 months after graduation, they were considered to be placed.
It's based off of who they've polled, because although they say that they've only polled like 80% of students, it's because those students aren't turning their stuff back in. So, I mean, if the greater majority of a graduating class is like 99%, those are still pretty good odds no matter what the case is.
I think it's a number we should be very proud of as a college community, that we can claim a number like that and back it up, quantify that number, and say that our student success rate is due to the environment that our students learn to succeed in here at our school.
Assistant Director of the Wackerly Career and Leadership Center, Stephanie Kincaid, considers a primary reason for this rate is that students are becoming more proactive in their job search.
They're reading our newsletters, they're making alumni connections, and they're getting out there and searching for jobs earlier than in past years.
Internships are also a key point to landing a career. 76% of the class of 2014 received at least one internship experience, which is above the national average of 61.
It really teaches students soft skills, which is what employers are searching for. So, the employers are willing to train employees, but they want them to have the communication skills, the analytical thought, the problem solving, which is what doing an internship can actually provide them.
Kincaid says that first job may not be your dream job, but your first job can lead to bigger and better things.
I don't want students to think that those jobs are not worth anything. They are, because employers can see that you've worked, especially in retail, worked with diverse populations, maybe with difficult people, and also you've learned a lot of problem solving skills. And I guarantee that 6 to 9 months down the road, there will be better things coming.
Bad weather moved the 161st matriculation ceremony from Wallace Hall Plaza to Glennie Gymnasium. After students were officially welcomed to Monmouth College, Dr. Wyatt presented them with the matriculation coin, which holds the tradition of current students building the legacy for future students.
The ceremony marks important passages in our lives, and certainly entry into college is one of those important moments. And so it's important to treat it with some dignity and to pass along traditions that are part of defining the place, and it helps bring us into a community. So it's a great experience.
Wyatt became MC's 14th president in July. After working at Center College for 35 years, he is looking forward to working with the people at Monmouth and to see what he may be able to contribute to the college.
There have been some things that we've already started to think about, but really engaged in the community in some really extensive and intensive conversations about who we are and what we would like to be and what it's going to take to become that place. And certainly we're going to build off of Monmouth's great spirit, the spirit of service, the spirit of of really empowering young people, we're going to look at how we can do that even better.
Coming up on MCTV this week, Monmouth College again reaches the 99% placement rate, and a Holocaust survivor shares her experience while visiting on campus. This week starts next. Hello and welcome to MCTV this week. For Alistair Ramsey, I'm Tory Philbin. 2015 marks the third consecutive year that Monmouth College places 99% of its recent graduating class in the workforce or graduate school. 80% of last year's graduates responded to the survey. If they reported being employed either full-time or part-time or enrolled in graduate school 6 months after graduation, they were considered to be placed.
It's based off of who they've polled because although they say that they've only polled like 80% of students, it's because those students aren't turning their stuff back in. So, I mean, if the greater majority of a graduating class is like 99%, those are still pretty good odds no matter what the case is.
I think it's a number we should be very proud of as a college community, that we can claim a number like that and back it up, quantify that number, and say that our student success rate is due to the environment that our students learn to succeed in here at our school.
Assistant Director of the Wackerly Career and Leadership Center, Stephanie Kincaid, considers a primary reason for this rate is that students are becoming more proactive in their job search.
They're reading our newsletters, they're making alumni connections, and they're getting out there and searching for jobs earlier than in past years.
Internships are also a key point to landing a career. 76% of the class of 2014 received at least one internship experience, which is above the national average of 61.
It really teaches students soft skills, which is what employers are searching for. So, the employers are willing to train employees, but they want them to have the communication skills, the analytical thought, the problem solving, which is what doing an internship can actually provide them.
Kincaid says that first job may not be your dream job, but your first job can lead to bigger and better things.
I don't want students to think that those jobs are not worth anything. They are, because employers can see that you've worked, especially in retail, worked with diverse populations, maybe with difficult people, and also you've learned a lot of problem solving skills. And I guarantee that 6 to 9 months down the road, there will be better things coming.
The continued high placement rate is a factor in the college's number 15 spot on the list of colleges that add the most value to last fall's Money magazine.
Holocaust survivor Inga Arbacher relived her childhood stories with the Monmouth College community. Arbacher presented a slideshow of snapshots from the past. She discussed her life before, during, and after the Holocaust. Living in the village of Kippenheim, Germany, she saw division of Jews and Christians at an early age. She showed the very Star of David she wore on her coat as a young Jewish girl. In detailing her experience in the prison of the Theresienstadt concentration camp, Arbacher spoke about being covered in lice for months to sleeping on soiled mattresses with another child prisoner. Despite the adversity she faced, she never lost what she described as her father's optimism. Currently a resident in Queens, she called the most diverse place in the country, Arbacher lives in a community of Muslims, Hindus, and Christians, fully appreciative of the diversity of prayer surrounding her daily life. Arbacher took audience questions at the end of the talk and sold and signed copies of her book, I Am a Star.
Well, you can overcome a great deal in life. I overcame the torture of the Holocaust and also the torture of getting a horrible disease like tuberculosis, where there was no cure for many years. And I had the good luck, it was like 2 miracles in my life, to stay alive from the torture of these terrible years in concentration camps, of where I had the death sentence. And I had the death sentence again with this terrible disease. And up comes the discovery of a tremendous antibiotic. And I met the man who was the co-discoverer of streptomycin that saved my life. So I had 2 huge miracles in my life.
Arbacher spoke as part of ASAP's Human Experience series.
Students, faculty, and city residents came together in CSB to discuss important issues in Syria. During the event, the International Club stressed the importance of taking part in helping Syrian refugees by sharing a video on the issues. Then political science major Adam Johnson led a discussion on what Monmouth students can do to help these
biggest
refugees.
issue right now is with the kids, because that's like the major priority of the international club. We are really focusing on the children because just recently there was a winter storm and most of the kids don't even have clothes or footwear to wear, and that's what we want to really fundraise for.
If you're interested in joining the International Club, they meet on Saturdays at 3 in the Intercultural House.
Is Monmouth College considered a drinking school? Professionals Luke Raymond and Dr. Frank Lazala discuss the various factors that can contribute to high numbers of students drinking on college campuses. Two of the factors were environmental and individual factors, such as the cold weather around the campus causing students to drink out of boredom or personal problems with a student. They also explain the procedures that are necessary to follow when a friend is intoxicated. These include placing them in a fetal position on their side and staying with them in the emergency room so the doctors can get information about them. Some suggestions for students' safety while drinking were also brought up, such as spacing out drinks and having a designated driver. Afterwards, Raymond gave students some tips to help them with alcoholism.
Get help. Like Dr. LaSalle mentioned during the presentation, there are a huge number of 12-step programs, Alcoholics Anonymous available. Get an assessment from a qualified individual. Talk to someone you trust, a friend, family member, clergy member, anyone who you may feel could help point you in the right direction.
This lecture was sponsored by MC Wellness and Alpha Tau Omega.
A local doctor came to campus to discuss this disease and disease prevention. Dr. Wahid Royin from OSF spoke about common diseases such as breast cancer, lung cancer, diabetes, and heart disease, and what screenings we should have, how often we should have them, and at what age. He spoke about how smoking is a major risk factor for heart disease, which is the leading cause of death in the U.S.
It is actually a risk factor for almost every disease you can think of in a common sense way. The problem is that smoking is not actually, quitting is not easy. And the reason for that is the modified genes of the tobacco that makes you more addicted.
This event was also sponsored by MC Wellness and Alpha Tau Omega.
Educator and poet Allison Joseph was on campus to give a short poetry reading. Allison Joseph, a professor and poet who currently teaches at Southern Illinois University Carbondale, showed Monmouth students and faculty her many talents at a poetry reading in Mellinger. She organized the poems in a unique way to teach the young writers of Monmouth how to perform an engaging poetry reading.
Just meeting students at all sorts of universities and colleges and seeing the excitement of people who are beginning to write themselves. That's a really special time in someone's life when they've decided to risk it, because it's a risky thing. There's no guarantee that you'll be successful at it. There's a lot of failure involved. There's a lot of falling down and picking yourself back up. So it's an exciting thing to be a part of that.
The English department hosts poetry readings every month. Next reading will be in Mellinger on March 23rd and 24th with special guests Susanna Childress and Dave Harity.
MC students and the public were invited to come to Gospel Explosion and celebrate Black history in the Doll Chapel. The program began with singing from the audience to lift every voice and sing. From gospel singing, dancing, and Bible trivia, the event celebrated rich gospel traditions. Seniors were honored at the event, and alumni Raven Robinson returned to perform with the group One Accord. The Intercultural Life and Colorful Voices of Praise sponsored this event.
Taking a look at some events on campus this week. Tonight's Great Decisions lecture takes a look into the future. Learn about human trafficking in the 25th century at 7:30 in CSP 276. Take a break from midterms and play games at ASAP's Late Night Casino Edition at 8 in Scotland Yard. And Friday is exam day for all half-semester classes. There will be no classes for full semester classes. Classes resume on March 16th.